On this day, we celebrate the feast day of St. John Vianney. He is the patron saint of parish priests, and with good reason. There are many things in his life that I think can be good models, not only for priests and parish priests especially, but for all Christian people. First of all, St. John Vianney was an idealist, and I mean that in the best sense of the word. That doesn't mean he was a dreamer. That meant that he could see that beyond this world, there were other realities as well. Heaven, grace, angels. He was by no means naive, but he was always a real idealist. And in particular, he really held the priesthood up in high regard. Little wonder, at that time, the time when he was growing up as a child, the French Revolution was on. There was a great persecution of clergy, especially those who would be faithful to Rome and wouldn't compromise with the French government that was installed at the time, the revolutionary government. So he always had an incredible view of the priesthood. He held it on a very high pedestal. He had great expectations for it, as we all should. And if we're priests, we're meant to live out that idealism ourselves by trying to be the best priest possible, because people have a right to demand and expect that their priests are holy and that they're living well. So St. John Vianney is an idealist. The other thing that always I find remarkable in his life is the incredible dedication to mission. What a model and example for every priest, indeed every Christian. He would work in the confessional for 12 hours at a time, working 16-hour days. He slept 2-3 hours a week. It's just incredible. He wouldn't even slow down to eat very much. He would have a boiled potato, and on Sundays, to treat himself, he'd have an egg. Now there is a man who's dedicated to the mission, who wants to offer himself completely to the mission he's been given by God to be a good and faithful priest. The third way in which I think St. John Vianney is a wonderful model for all parish priests is his humility. You know, great miracles were happening at ours. 20,000 pilgrims a year would go there just to hear St. John Vianney. They would line up for hours just to be heard in confession. They all went there for one reason. They knew there was a holy man in ours, but there was one person in ours who didn't realize this, St. John Vianney himself. He always felt himself to be somewhat worthless in that sense, to not be a great instrument for God's grace. He didn't really realize how holy he actually was. And there's the incredible humility of a wonderful saint. He never even felt worthy to serve the people of Ars, such a small community in the French countryside in the south of France near Lyon. And so he really did always have this incredible sense of humility. The fourth lesson he tells us, prayer. Prayer is so important. He would spend a lot of his time when he wasn't in the confessional and when he wasn't in the pulpit, exhorting people to pray, helping them to pray, teaching them to pray. In particular, he really felt that community prayer was very important. He said private prayer is a bit like some straw, one or two little pieces of straw. When you light them, there's this huge immediate flame, but it dies down quickly and there's nothing left. Whereas when we have public and communal prayer, that is much more like many, many logs coming together and creating a great, great fire, almost like a bonfire that rises right up like a column to heaven. He teaches us that prayer is vital and important. And he's an idealist in the best sense of the word. He is somebody who is very dedicated to the mission. He's a man of humility. And finally, prayer. St. John Vianney, patron of parish priests and model for priesthood and even the Christian life in many ways, pray for us. May God bless you.